Hi, hello, and welcome. As you may be able to tell by the title, we're doing something different here today. So there were a couple new releases that dropped shortly before Christmas, and when I didn't get some of the ones that I had my eye on, I figured I'd go out looking for them just because I didn't want to buy it ahead of time and then get gifted it as well, right? So I was only on the hunt for 3 records, and then before I knew it, I was ordering all this. So let's take a look at what's inside. This all comes from Kops Records in Toronto. They did have one of the 3 that I was looking for. And then, I just kept browsing, and before I knew it, I had, I think, 34, maybe 35 different records in my basket. No, actually, sorry. I had more than that. I just limited it down to 34 or 35 that I was willing to buy at this moment. This isn't a brand endorsed video or anything. They just have an impeccable selection that included many albums that were on my list that I wanted. So shout out to them. With that being said, let's get to it. Let us see what is inside. Shit. Oh my god, this knife is nothing compared to this tape. Good lord. This isn't even a knife, this is a nail file, isn't it? Come on. Shout out for doing everything, taking every measure possible to ensure these all arrived safely in good condition. Okay, right on. So I didn't know what order they were going to be placed in, but starting off is one of these 3 records I was looking for. The new pressing of the first Queens of the Stone Age record with its original cover art, thankfully censored so I don't have to do it myself. And it may even be on a red or orange vinyl if I recall correctly. Looking forward to this one. Great release. So yeah, there were a couple different sites I came across that had this, but Kops had it, as well as so many other albums I was interested in buying. So that's what led me to stick with these guys. Second up, and if I'm not mistaken, they seem to be placed in the order I added them to my basket. I saw that they had No Love, Deep Web by Death Grips with a Safe album cover. Most of these that I bought were probably $20 to $30. I think this was the only one I splurged on. I think it was, $60 for this 10th anniversary edition on a Coke bottle clear vinyl. I just figured, the odds of me running into this on vinyl again probably weren't very high, so I thought I'd spoil myself. Next, just another classic release. The first B-52s record on a exclusive splatter vinyl. I'd call this pretty underrated, honestly. I am looking forward to reviewing this one day. The only problem is I like to plan so far ahead with my channel that even though a lot of these I do want to review, I already have, I think, the next 40 albums planned for me to cover. So it might be a while before I get to these ones. Next is, I think, the only album I purchased that I hadn't already heard, and that was 13 Blues for 13 Moons by the Silver Mount Zion Memorial Orchestra, made up of some members of possibly the greatest band of all time, Godspeed You Black Emperor. There's one slid away and now head. Can I get this out of here? It's kind of in my face. That's a bit better. That's a bit better. Oh shit, there goes some stuff. Next, with an incredible album I've spent some time looking for, and I just came across it by luck here. The incredible The Ascension by Glenn Branca. It's only 5 songs, but they're solid. It's some solid, this is my first video where I don't have a script pre-planned. I'm just kind of free roaming it, and I see it's not working very well, I don't think. Anyways, fantastic album. I'm so excited to have finally found that. Another one, I've only listened to this once, but I remember enjoying it quite a bit, and that is Leviathan by Mastodon. Oh, maybe I should be taking these out of the protective sleeve so you can actually see them better. There might be some reflection to that, eh? Yeah. Oh, and also, I forgot, if I'm not mistaken, this is actually a different cover art to it too. Yeah, because it is the Gold Nugget edition. Oh, shit. Can I not get this back in now? Good lord. We are a mess today. There you go. You're getting me at my most authentic. How many records down are we at this point? I don't know, 6, 7. One genre I listen to that isn't super well reflected in my library so far is jazz. So I'm hoping to expand on that more, get some more jazz reviews in. The ever brave, I guess if you want to call him that, just doing his own thing, Ornette Coleman. I believe he's considered one of the pioneers of freeform jazz, improv jazz, one of the two. I remember one day at work, it was probably an overnight shift because it was just me and my one coworker, and so we had some music going, and I just had my iPod on shuffle, and he listened to a lot of different music, but probably not all the stuff I listen to. And I felt bad that at one point it was like a 20-minute, no, maybe 15-minute freeform jazz song by Ornette Coleman that came on, and he did not really look like he was having it, so I'm sorry about that, pal. Next one up, another fantastic album, Moon Picks by Cat Power. Some solid slowcore, if you will. This is a beautiful release, truly. And another one, electronic ambient. It is Grouper's AIA Alien Observer. I have not checked out a whole lot of her stuff, unfortunately, but I do remember this being a very lush and very beautiful album. Similar to jazz, a genre not too well reflected in my catalog currently is blues, so I was very glad to cut. Oh, is this 2 albums I'm grabbing? Oh no, it's just one. I was very glad to come across the complete Robert Johnson collection, one of the absolute OGs. Double LP set of all his recorded material. Baby, don't you want to go? Yeah, should be great. Might be some good listening. I didn't listen to too many new releases from last year. However, my 2022 album of the year was Big Thief's latest release. It's just such an adorable album. I mean, listening to it, you really just feel like one of these cute little animals sitting around this campfire. I don't know how well you can see that. Look at them all there, eh? God damn it, get out of here, light. Look at them all. I promise you, this album is so cute, you will feel like one of these animals sitting there. Would you walk forever in the light? This leads us to probably the first black metal album I've ever owned. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I haven't been that far yet, but this one by Burzum. A lot of people prefer the follow-up album, but this was the one that resonated most with me. Oh, and it's a picture disc. I don't even know if I knew that. Solid release. Solid release. Of course, with some more Canadian classics, the wonderfully talented Joni Mitchell and her breathtaking album Blue on a crystal clear vinyl. I think a lot of these were on cool variants that I might not have even realized at the time. But hey, all the more reason to get it.
He's a walker in the rain, he's a dancer in the dark.
Shout out to half my viewer base with this one, since if I remember correctly from my statistics, the majority of you subscribed after watching my Beginner's Guide to Slipknot, and so we had to go with the self-titled debut. Incredible album, yellow vinyl. It's got so many of their big hits on it, between Sick, Eyeless, Wait and Bleed, Spit It Out. But lately, I've actually been jamming to Liberate a lot. That has been my song of theirs. That's been my go-to so far. Another album I've been looking for a long time. Probably wasn't even very hard to find. I just never went through with buying it in favor of other records. But awesome Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables by Dead Kennedys. One of my favorite hardcore punk albums. Maybe even only second to My War by Black Flag. Strong recommend you check out that video review of mine. Uh-oh, our pile's getting a little lopsided here. I'm only just now noticing this says this version's put out by Cherry Red Records. I think I was under the assumption that the record itself was red. Let's hope so. An album that a decent amount of people in online circles I associate with aren't the craziest about, probably just because of the band that it is. But Black Keys with Magic Potion. I love the tone of the guitar all throughout this. It is just so rugged and raunchy. It is very garage-like. You think of songs like Just Got to Be, Elevator. Shout out to my buddy LeBron James who showed me that song. Honestly, not that we're friends necessarily, but he picked the soundtrack to one of the NBA video games and he put that in it. So you know what? Thank you, LeBron. Another album I was super excited to find, especially because I wasn't even looking for it. It was just in their catalog. At Action Park by Shellac, one of Steve Albini's bands. This is some solid noise rock. There it is. I'm sorry, I am blanking without case in point. I am blanking without a pre-written script here. I thought it would have been easier to just go off the top of my head, but it clearly hasn't been. So as I said before, one of the original 3 albums I was even looking for in the first place was that new release of the Queens of the Stone Age self-titled debut. Another one I was looking for was Pagan Terrorism Tactics by Acid Bath. But I think the cheapest I could find it, including shipping here, was like 85 to 90 bucks Canadian, which was a lot for just one album. I mean, it's kind of funny to say considering this, but the third album I was looking for was the remastered Animals by Pink Floyd. I think Animals is probably their best album. I already have it on vinyl, so that's kind of what dissuaded me from getting this new one, even though it had a cool new cover art and Kops actually had it in stock. Yeah, I figured I'm getting all these records. I already have a version of it anyways. So instead, I went with another probably underrated Pink Floyd release, and that is Atom Heart Mother. There aren't many songs on here, but a lot of the ones that are on here are great, especially the eponymous track, which runs like 25 minutes if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, very cool. Ah! I'm gonna have to start making a second pile here. Again, going back to Canadian releases, Something Better Change by DOA. Funny story, don't know how true it is. My dad was in a band when he was in high school in the Toronto area, and don't know if there was any relation or not, but they also went by the name DOA. And so I guess the real DOA got word of this, and Joey Shithead supposedly showed up to the door of the singer of my dad's band and threatened to, like, I don't know, kick all their asses or something if they didn't change their name. And like I said, I don't know how true that is. I think it's a fun story regardless, though. Another Canadian release here. Have not looked up the pronunciation yet, so don't hate me. Chad Van Galen, with I think a 2021, maybe 2022 release. World's Most Stressed Out Gardener, with some funky spaghetti brain cover art there. Another group that's been making a lot of noise lately, Black Midi. Which album though? Cavalcade. Which way do I have this? Is this upside down? Honestly, it's hard to tell because their artwork is so crazy. You never even really know what's going on in it. But yeah, some more great post rock. This was I haven't listened to Hellfire yet, but this is my favorite of theirs until then. An album I wasn't necessarily looking for, but I was there at an affordable price. The classic Either Or by Elliott Smith. Some nice, good, soft, sad tunes on this one. Can't you ever treat anyone nice? One of my favorite records all time here, the first Stooges album. Some real great songs on this. I think it was actually Grand Theft Auto 4 that got me hooked on them with I Wanna Be Your Dog, if I'm not mistaken, was on one of the radio stations in that. Some very awesome early punk.
In my room, I want
you here. As I've said before on my channel, one of the broad genres that I'm not as crazy about is electronic based stuff. However, Oracular Spectacular by MGMT is a pretty solid album. It's got the incredible electric feel on it, which is a banger tune. And yeah, we'll be reviewing this sometime in the distant future. If you follow the Instagram page for this channel, don't be worried if you don't. It's mostly just to promote whenever I put stuff out. But I did also mention on it recently that I thought Denzel Curry was perhaps my favorite rapper of the 2010s. And so I snagged his record, Zoo.
My daddy said trust no man but your brothers and never leave your day ones in the gutter. My daddy said treat young girls like your mother.
The first album I ever owned by one of the most famous bands throughout history. I had it on CD. Now it's also the first of theirs I own on vinyl. That is Metallica with And Justice for All.
I cannot live, I cannot die, track of myself, fighting my only fear.
Only $25, I would be a fool to pass this one up. I actually considered getting the Lady Justice tattoo for quite a while, but I don't know, I'm kind of weary on getting music tattoos just in case my tastes change over time. You know, it seems kind of iffy, despite how great a record it is. A while back in one of my videos where I review recommendations from you guys, I did the lone solo release from rapper Lauryn Hill, and here we have her and her group Fugees with the incredible The Score, one of the all-time great hip-hop albums.
Strumming my pain with his fingers, singing my life.
I feel like we've gotten quite a few punk albums in here already. Why stop now? MC5. It's rare that a band's first album is a live album, but MC5 definitely did it right.
Well, I feel pretty good, and I guess that I could get crazy now, baby.
I feel like we're starting to get close to the bottom here now. Yeah, as I just recently said, Denzel was probably my favorite rappers of the 2010s. However, halfway through the decade, that title actually belonged to Travis Scott. He just kind of lost me with Astroworld. I thought it paled in comparison to Rodeo and Birds in the Trap. And then, you know, there was that whole festival controversy, assuming that was more than 3 years ago. Who knows? Time feels like it's been flying lately. But yeah, I thought Rodeo and Birds in the Trap were both great albums.
Baby, just hold on, feeling low.
Another Canadian release, alternative rock group Our Lady Peace with Clumsy. Cannot go wrong with that one. Got some big hits of theirs on it.
If I don't make it, know that I loved you all along.
Another thing I'd like to do more is cover more artists from non-Anglosphere countries, but that just makes up such a massive percentage of the music I listen to. However, there is still music outside of that I listen to. And one of the best, Fela Kuti, with Expensive Shit, an awesome record. I still have yet to check out a lot more of his other stuff. I've only listened to a few albums. But yeah, this one's great. This one is great. Oh, I might have to do a lot of censoring there. A classic album I picked up that I just hadn't gotten around to yet. Rage Against the Machine's debut. I was so grateful that my girlfriend joined me to see them when they were in Hamilton last year. Run the Jewels opening for them is, you know, all the more reason to go. And even though he had to be sitting the whole time and had to be like carried off stage, he still brought all the energy for somebody in the condition he was in. It was incredible hearing Wake Up live, which I think might be my favorite Rage song of all time. So that was definitely a treat. Yeah, probably one of the best albums of all time.
Networks at work, keeping people calm. You know they went after King when he spoke out on Vietnam. He turned the power to the have-nots.
Going back to what I stated earlier, trying to get some more jazz in our rotation. Why not some Charles Mingus? Cannot go wrong. On blue vinyl, no less. Wow, there are a lot of records here. Are you keeping count? Because I'm not. Oh, that's actually the last of them. Yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. I didn't even buy these with the intent of making a video out of it, but it seemed like a pretty decent idea. Can't guarantee I'll be doing another one, at least not anytime soon, at least not of this size. Yeah, hopefully it was enjoyable. I don't know if this would be up your alley or not, but like I said, it seemed like a pretty decent idea. Unboxing videos generally get views and kind of gives you some insight into all the music I'm into that I haven't already covered, that I hope to cover someday. So if there was an album in here you really liked, I guess keep an eye out. Or if there's a lot of pressure to review one sooner, maybe, who knows, maybe I'll bump it up the list and replace something else out. But as always, was such a delight hosting you. Hopefully you felt somewhat at home here in the cozy living room. And until next time, as always, appreciate you.